During World War II, the Italian communist movement and its partisan forces emerged as key players in the resistance against fascism and the fight for liberation in Italy. However, the perception of these communist fighters among the Allied powers was complex, shaped by ideological considerations, strategic interests, and the exigencies of wartime politics. This article delves into the Allies' views of the Italian communist movement and its partisan forces during this tumultuous period. The rise of the Italian communist movement. The Italian Communist Party (PCI), despite being outlawed and persecuted under Mussolini's fascist regime, remained active in clandestine resistance activities throughout the war. Communist partisans, along with other resistance groups, mounted a fierce campaign against fascist forces, engaging in sabotage, intelligence gathering, and guerrilla warfare across the Italian peninsula. Allied perceptions. The Allies' perception of the Italian communist movement was shaped by a mix of suspicion, pragmatism, and strategic considerations. While some Allied leaders harbored reservations about communist ideology and its potential implications for post-war Europe, others recognized the pivotal role that communist partisans played in the resistance against fascism. Strategic allies. From a strategic standpoint, the Allies saw the communist partisans as valuable allies in the fight against the Axis powers. Communist-led resistance cells, particularly in northern Italy, disrupted enemy supply lines, provided intelligence to Allied forces, and tied down significant German troops, thereby facilitating the Allied advance through Italy. Ideological concerns. Despite their strategic utility, the ideological differences between the communist partisans and the democratic governments of the Allied powers sometimes led to tensions and mistrust. Allied leaders, particularly those from the United States and Great Britain, viewed communism with suspicion and were wary of supporting movements that might have communist affiliations. Collaboration and recognition. Nevertheless, as the war progressed and the contributions of the communist partisans became increasingly evident, the Allies began to recognize and collaborate more closely with these resistance groups. This culminated in the formal recognition of the Italian partisan forces by the Allied High Command and the provision of material support and supplies to aid their efforts. Legacy and reflection. In hindsight, the role of the Italian communist movement and its partisan forces in the liberation of Italy remains a complex and contested topic. While their contributions to the defeat of fascism are widely acknowledged, debates continue to rage over their motivations, methods, and legacy in post-war Italy. As we reflect on this period in history, it is essential to recognize the nuances and complexities of the Allies' perceptions of the Italian communist movement. Despite their ideological differences and strategic calculations, the shared goal of defeating fascism ultimately brought together disparate forces in a common cause of liberation and freedom.